Red River Cycle Trails. We're about to do a class with the Graham Jarvis. So, a small group. I don't know how many are in the class right now, but looks like 10 to 20 people going to be in this class.
Yeah, we'll have a little warm up, do the basics, you know, on the flat ground. We're going to try and break the techniques down as much as we can, so rather than going into stuff and wearing ourselves out. So like I said, we're going to start with the real basic stuff on the flat ground. It's always better to break the techniques down as much as we can, do it in a real simple way first. So a lot of it's you're going to apply it to difficult stuff this afternoon, but if you can do it on the flats, it's going to help you a lot if you can understand. The main thing is understand the technique, you know, remember the key points. You're never going to master everything straight away, it's always going to take a bit of time, but you know, the main thing is understand the technique. So first thing we do is slow riding, which is something you're going to do no matter what riding you do. So a lot of it, like I said, is the clutch control. We have one finger on the clutch, always keep that covered all the time. So if you get into trouble, first thing you do is pull the clutch in, as if your hand's not too tired. And then one thing on the front brake, but on and off with the front brake just when you need it. This slow riding technique, I'd just like you to use the front and rear brake to control the speed. So you're basically getting all the controls. You'd be able to do the slow riding without the brakes, but if you can just get in the habit of using all the controls. We're going to do it's a standing up exercise, so a bit of balancing as well. So if you lean the bike in, it's going to turn a lot better. If you think about leaning the bike in, keep your body centred. You can see I'm just more central and leaning the bike in. That's obviously going to balance it at slow speed. If you're going fast, obviously you can lean into the bike, but I always say get over the back of the bike as well. So again, you'll be able to do it without hanging off the back, but you can practice hanging back. It's going to compress the suspension and in turn push the tyre in for grip and keep the front end nice and light. Goal is to get it on full lock in either direction, but it doesn't matter too much. So the main thing is get that clutch and brake control. So you can probably see your engine revs are pretty constant, and I was using the clutch to control the speed. So find yourself a nice space, try and do a figure of 8 so you've got turns in both directions. Give it a go.
Okay, well, this definitely isn't a highlights video. It's long, it's a little over an hour, but my thoughts were to really kind of create a video that really gave everyone the feel of what the class is actually like to be in. So it's a 2-day class, and it starts off a little slow, kind of tedious, little flat ground, ultra slow movements, but yeah, really good stuff, good basics, and yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy this video. I don't know if you'll make it through the whole thing, but if you're really interested in doing a class like this video is for you.
So we're going to make a little section here, so when it's a bit looser, you know, a few more obstacles to contend with. It's just going to test you, any mistakes, any weaknesses, you're just going to show up a little bit more. You're going to just have to work a bit more on your technique. So, I'm going to start here round, I'll just ride it, you can remember where it goes, and then following on.
again. This has kind of had me chomping at the bit to go do some riding with Graham, but these are pretty good fundamentals, and he's really trying to get us to concentrate on full wheel lock turns at slowest speed possible, covering the clutch and brake, and just being in kind of total control of the bike. So if there's a theme to the Graham Jarvis class, it would be master slow riding, without a doubt. That is his theory, and unless you can really master slow riding, you're never going to be really great as a fast rider.
It's the same thing, we're going to try and do it nice and slow, but start to think about the line a little bit more. So you've got to think when you're turning, you're going to have to turn a little bit. Think about a line for your front wheel, a line for your back wheel. Obviously the front, when you turn, is going a little bit wider than the back. So you're just thinking about where the front's going to be, and probably more importantly, the back's always going to be wants to be on the flattest bit of ground when you're turning, so it's not catching on the edges and tipping you off. Most important technique is to be able to use the suspension a little bit. So I can demonstrate it with the engine off. So if your technique is, you should be able to bounce the front wheel without using any throttle whatsoever. So the first thing to do I'll do is compress the fork. So the more compression I get, the more rebound I'm going to get, obviously. But it's got a natural speed that it's going to rebound, so you're just trying to catch that rebound as it's coming back up. I'm going to flex my legs into the radiator as I'm compressing, and then, so I've got a little bit more leverage, more weight to the front, and then that's it really. Front and rear brake on, so it's not going to roll backwards, forwards. I'm going to get a good bounce with the front. So I'm not really moving my head too much. More with the legs.
Man, how long can you do that?
I'm tired now. It's a good training exercise. But it doesn't, you know, if you can keep it bouncing, it's good. But if not, we're just trying to get in the habit of using the suspension. So I'll come round and just hold the bike a little bit for you, but you can try by yourselves as well.
Graham makes this exercise look so simple, but it's actually was the hardest thing for me to do. One of the things I realized is I do not know how to use the suspension to my advantage, so this was a super humbling exercise for everybody, I think, and something I got to practice on. I was going to say, I'll help you too. That'll wear your old guy out quick. Man, I've edited these clips down, but this was like I was just completely out of energy. I couldn't even hardly move the bike here, so you can just tell by my breath there, just huffing and puffing, and man, he just made this look so easy. It's hard to hold both brakes. I'm definitely gonna have to practice on this one.
A bit more with the legs, get the knees down into the radiator. Okay. Get the brakes on, front and rear brakes, just rolling a little bit. Get your knees into the radiator, okay. More compression first. Front brake on.
Okay, I'll do it now. That really helped when you said to go down into the fork, because I was jumping on it, but then when you go into the fork, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, so you're thinking about pushing and pulling the angle of the forks. Obviously if you just up and down, both suspension's going to go, but it's more transferring the weight, pressure from the front and then pulling back a little bit. So we're going to try and do the wheelie now. We're going to do the wheelie, so I say. And hopefully it's just got you in the mindset of using the suspension and not just the throttle. So I think what we do, we just go over to that banking, and we're going to practice on a bit of a slope, so it's just a little bit easier.
So you think it's better starting with a standing wheelie learning or a sitting?
Yeah, better standing I think. It doesn't make a lot of difference, but you know, when you're doing logs and rocks you're going to be standing up using the legs, so it's always more useful. When I compress it, quite a lot of back brake, a little bit of front brake as well. Main thing is flex them legs into it, and then a bit of gas as you compress, get the gas on, so you're already gassing it just before starting to rebound. So it's all about coordination, it's not physical strength. You just get the power on and good timing with the suspension rebounding, front will come off nice and easy.
Oh, that's how you do it. Wheelies are always something I've wanted to know how to do, and I always just tried to use the clutch and throttle and push my butt in the back of the seat, but this is a really good example how I'm not really using the suspension of this bike to my advantage. So if you do, it's a lot less effort to really get a wheelie going and do a really good technical slow wheelie. So lesson learned here, use the suspension to your advantage.
So I think most of you are just a little bit too fast there. So if you're too fast on this technical stuff, the suspension doesn't have time to compress and you don't get your technique right. So just watch again what I'm doing with my legs. Pressing into it. Just a little bit of gas, just enough to get over.
So since I've been riding again the last year and a half or so, log hopping and trees and rocks, jumping over that stuff I've been doing quite a bit of, and definitely feel pretty comfortable with this exercise. It's a real handy thing if you want to do any trail riding, unless you carry a chainsaw.
So we're going to mix it up a little bit. We do something a little bit more flowing. We're going to do the flat turns. So we've got lots of space here. So it's all just about, again, being in control, nice and smooth. But the most important thing is to just move your ass on the seat a little bit. If you just sat in the middle, the bike's going to be unstable. So you're looking for good stability up the front of the seat. So if you sat too far over the back, the suspension's going to be too bouncy and again put you a little bit out of control. So your outside knee get pushed into the radiator and the inside leg out the front to balance you. So key is edge of the seat, get your ass cracking that edge of the seat and up the front. So better to exaggerate, you know, as much as you can, get up the front as much as you can, experiment what feels comfortable and go out. Again, do turns both ways, so practice just shuffling your ass on the seat and get a feel for it.
I've watched a lot of videos on how to do turns, but not something I've really practiced a lot, and I think this is going to be an exercise that really helps me in the races this season. You know, coming into straightaway, standing up, hauling ass, hard brake, slide up on the seat, kick that leg out, and get you a turn. You know, you shave off a few seconds in every turn, and really, really going to help your race. So this was really fun to practice. I've never really practiced this, and to have Graham there kind of coaching me through it was just amazing.
Do your braking standing up.
Oh, okay.
So you're leaning right back.
I got you, okay. Brake standing up,
Control standing up.
then go into sit, okay.
Sit down. Pretty good. Some of you just need to lean back a little bit more when you're braking. Got more control standing up, stay standing up. So the idea is to go from the standing position, braking, roll into the corner, sat down. Transferring from the standing to the seated position. Which is obviously you get a lot of these turns no matter what you're doing.
Talk a little bit about when we're doing the turns, the line for the front wheel and line for the back wheel. So quite often when I'm riding through rocks, I'll be just running the front wheel onto a rock and keeping the back wheel on the flat on the inside. You're going to come in, get a bit of angle on it, because your idea is to turn so the back wheel goes on the inside, front wheel's on the log. Obviously if you go too straight, you're going to be crabbing the back wheel. So you're going to come on, flex the legs just to help the front wheel onto it, even though the front wheel's not coming in the air. You just want to take the pressure off to help it onto it.
This is a technique I've never really thought about or tried much. Using that front wheel on a different line than the back wheel, it makes an awful lot of sense, and a little intimidated to do this exercise, thinking I was going to land on my ass, but it was really fun, and I see this being a really handy technique moving forward.
So next exercise we're going to do a bit of straight line riding. We're going to try and get right along the log. So technique involved in riding in a straight line as well. Obviously the bike's got to be in a straight line, but you're going to lose your balance a little bit. You're not going to ride perfect, so you're just moving your body from side to side to compensate, to balance it. Maybe a little, you can bring your leg off to balance a little bit as well. So just moving about gets you moving about on the bike. And when you go on, just before you go onto it, just give it a little bit of blip of throttle. Obviously you've got to help the front wheel on as well, but a little blip of throttle onto it, and so you got on it on good control. You're going to be powering it on the log. Quite often on slippery stuff I'll just give it a blip of throttle just to roll onto the obstacle, and you know you've got good control on when you're on top, and that's the key to a lot of stuff, just giving it a blip of throttle and rolling onto stuff so you're good control, and also the tyres gripping onto it as well.
This is also an exercise I just have never had the guts to try. Riding a log long ways, it's just something that, I don't know, just never tried it. So this is a little intimidating to do this. I definitely got janky on a few of these, but here's a few clips of me kind of making it all the way down the log. So I really enjoyed this, and this is definitely something I'm going to try practicing a lot more.
Log or step gets a bit bigger. You've obviously got to lift the front wheel just before the log, so get that shift compression well in advance, and then you're looking just to touch the front wheel on the top part of the log to compress again. So you can just wheel into it and get over, but the reason we touch it is to just get an extra bit of control. It compresses again. You can pull the front wheel up, ride the back wheel in. You can do it in a lot slower way than if you just hit it with the back wheel. It stops the engine touching as well. So the front wheel's going to hit, it's going to go the same again, it's going to compress when it touches again. Flex the legs again, always holding it on the clutch, controlling that speed. Bit of a two movement technique, one to get the front on, and then a little blip of the throttle, pull on the bars.
And I love me some log hopping. It's really cool to kind of rewatch this video, kind of like sports players have coaches having watched videos, because it really kind of showed me how I'm just kind of ramming into the log and not using the suspension once again. So good lesson.
So we go for the rock section now, try and build a bit of confidence on the rock. So keeping it nice and smooth. Obviously when you're on and off with the clutch, that's when it starts to spin up, and you don't want to be catching any the edges of the rock. So
and more rocks. Love climbing rocks. So this was really fun exercise, and felt pretty comfortable doing this. A few people had some issues coming over this stuff, but once again, this kind of reminds me of being out at Crooked Creek riding, and it's kind of the usual stuff I do. So this was a lot of fun, and wish I could have took a few different lines on that, but there you have it. Alright, so I had a microphone malfunction, and I lost some footage, didn't have any audio, so I just decided not to use it. So anyway, we moved on down into the creek area and working our way towards the trails, and yeah, just trying a little bit more difficult stuff. Starting to get really fun here.
Still need to be flexing your legs into it, like on that one. It's the same as the wheelie technique. In the end, you didn't have to lift the front wheel, you could ride it in, but you've still got to compress the suspension and help it go up, gas it at the right time. Bit of a log, you compress a little bit before that just to help it over. Again, you don't really have to lift a big lift, all you're doing is just taking the weight off the front to help it over.
Oh, that's the one I'm going to do.
there you go.
Yeah.
How much it?
Follow his track.
Yeah, uh-huh.
That ain't happening.
Gonna do that. Oh shit.
As usual, the GoPro wide angle lens makes this hill look like not much at all, but believe me, it was way more intimidating in person. So this is the first kind of somewhat technical, difficult thing we really had to do. Definitely intimidated everybody, but it was a lot of fun giving it a try. I didn't make it up the first time, but I did the second, so I think I've got a clip of that here coming up in a second. Okay, this is way steeper than it looks. This is a serious off camber here, and I was a bit nervous coming down. Glad I did it. A lot of fun. Alright, well now we're moving our way into the park. This is the first creek bed we did as a group, and wow, it was kind of went from easy stuff, didn't seem like that big of a deal for the most part, other than just wearing me out, and to this, which was like, holy shit. And poor Graham was just getting started. As you'll see, it gets a little more interesting as the day goes on.
Make it a bit harder if you like going that middle bit where I went.
Yeah.
Like a bit of a hole, but extra
Drop down that hole. So Graham's thinking this is just a little bit too easy for me and wants me to take a little different line than he took. Here's that little hole he's talking about. Didn't quite hit it, but anyway, I appreciate that. He's really kind of looking at each rider and pushing us based on their skill level. So yeah, that's what you pay for. Pretty cool. Now we're on our way to the waterfall, and Graham's gonna show us some pretty amazing riding and have us do a couple exercises, drop off about a 6-7 foot sheer ledge, and kind of ride through the top of the waterfall. So anyways, he does some pretty amazing stuff. So anyways, check this out. Okay, so these are the two exercises he's showing us. One, you can either kind of go across and ride up that little embankment, or you can come on down the creek and kind of cut up the creek and head out that way. So that's what he's trying to get us to do, not jump the waterfall. Whoa, that wasn't pretty. I get to do my private ride with, well, kind of private, 4 of us with Graham Jarvis. So it's pretty exciting. Last ride of the day, kiddos. So here we go. This should be interesting. So one thing I definitely learned is Graham Jarvis loves creek beds. So most of this ride, I think he called it a free ride that we did in this group, was basically creek beds. So it just really whooped the shit out of me. Found it really, really difficult, and really reminded me just how out of shape this old guy is. So anyways, it was a pretty cool experience. He definitely had us do some things that I literally did not think I could do. And just didn't think I could do it. So it was nice to get pushed like that. Did have some camera screw-ups, so I missed a good part of one of the creek beds. I've got some footage of it, then it kind of ends abruptly. My camera hits a tree and points up to the sky. And anyways, I lost some pretty good gnarly footage, but I also got quite a bit other footage. So anyways, check some of this out. This is awful fun. Some new creeks I didn't know existed at Red River, and I'm definitely gonna have to go find these again someday. so this is the creek bed I didn't get a lot of footage of. Camera hit a tree and pointed up the sky, and this is really long creek bed. I mean, this is a very, very short part of it, and definitely the easy part. Some of these holes down the creek were probably 2-3 feet deep of water, and just like straight nose down. So this part actually is pretty easy to get through. Just kind of work your way through, but I wish I had all the footage of this creek bed. Then again, it made my video a lot longer. So anyways, we're about to get into one that's even gnarly after this, so stay tuned. Okay, so this one was quite a bit gnarlier, and yeah, this was a pretty long one too. I got most of the footage, but not all of it. Again, I was just so wiped out and psyched out that my camera shooting skills weren't at their best. So anyways, you can see here is one of my camera fails where it points up at the sky, and then we get into one that's even gnarlier. And we actually get down here to the bottom of this creek bed, and it ends up dumping into the river, about 10 feet deep of water. So after all this, hopping logs and getting down here at the bottom, we had to turn around and come back out the same way we came in. So yeah, definitely challenging, and I was just surprised that we were even able to get out of here. I think most everybody else was too.
Put down, yeah! I think we're going to have to come back this way too, yeah? Change your front wheel here and then try and get it onto the... I'm going to look for a flat bit. I'm going to avoid the back wheel on that, really. Really? Come into there. Put my back tire over there, keep it over here. Yeah, right up there, right? Yeah. So you want to come into here, front wheel onto that, and then just try and get the engine on. Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. You want to avoid
getting that side because you got this for the back wheel. Anywhere here.
Yeah, right where his right hand was coming.
You take the front wheel apart if you like on the wheel. Just get focused on getting that engine on wheelie front wheel.
I got over.
Gary's still scoping it out. It's a no-go.
No-go.
Hold on, Randy. Dumps into the river.
Do I need to have a look?
No, don't let Graham look.
10 foot deep water hole. Still have open sea. 10 foot deep water hole? Yeah.
Randy, you got lucky. Woo! Yeah! If you're back far enough, it's a bridge.
Alright, this is a pretty cool hill climb I haven't done before out here at Red River. I think they call it Brokeback Mountain. A little scary, but whatever. Anyway, it's a new hill climb. I've never seen this one before. Definitely fun. A year and a half ago on the WR250R, that would have freaked me the fuck out. So anyway, it's pretty easy to get up there this year. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to head over across the park and try some more stuff, I believe. Check it out. Okay, well, sun's going down, and I think this is the last creek bed on our ride. We're only supposed to have an hour ride with Graham, but I think we were out for about an hour and 30 minutes. And I'll say with Graham Jarvis, an hour and 30 minutes is like 3 or 4 hours. Yeah, anyway, I'm definitely realizing here at the end of this ride just how out of shape I am and how much I need to work out to improve my riding, and just kind of trying to soak in everything I learned from the day. But what an amazing day, an amazing opportunity. I can't believe I got to ride Red River with Graham Jarvis. This is so freaking cool.
Hey, Sean, you should look at your numbers in front. 01D looks like OLD.
Oh, old.
How old are you then?
52.
I'm 56 almost.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Good to know. Good go, isn't it?
How long do you think you're going to keep racing hard enduro, Graham?
I'm signed for another 2 years, so I'll try and do that.
Cool.
How old did you say you were? Really?
Graham, how old are you?
Red. 41.
41.
Feel like a young buck.
You look like a young buck.
Feel good.
Man, you should just keep racing until, I mean, everyone's getting beat by you still, so, I mean...
Well, you guys are inspiring me.
Awesome.
I was ready to give up. What are you then?
33.
Oh, you're a baby.
He is.
Shit, no wonder you're doing so well today.
I'm just...
Well, I survived my ride with Graham Jarvis, and I'm gonna be sore tomorrow, kiddos. Alright kids, so it's day 2 of Graham Jarvis class. In the 30s today for the high, so quite a bit different from yesterday. Okay, so day 2 is going to start off with first 3 miles of Bill's Woods. So frankly, I think that's probably the most boring part of Bill's Woods, but a lot of these people probably haven't ever rode it before, and what the heck. So anyways, I cut it down pretty well. Didn't really need a whole lot of clips of this in my mind. But anyway, for those of y'all that haven't ridden Bill's Woods, here's the first 3 miles. Check it out.
Yesterday on the adventure rides, a lot of it you can probably see is getting out of trouble when you get stuck. So there's a technique to getting out of trouble as well. Sometimes it's just about a case of thinking things through, where you want your wheels, where you're going to put your feet, manoeuvring the bike. There's a few exercises we can do to help us manoeuvre the bike when we're stuck. So the simplest one is, you've probably done it before, spin the back wheel round, but there's a bit of technique as well.
Another great little technique. I really haven't practiced that much, but I can see how this would be extremely beneficial. So you never know when you need to get out of a tight jam and kind of spin that back wheel out, turn on a dime, and you just won't believe what happens next.
Give it just a little bit more control, so perhaps get a little bit more weight off the rear and just less revs. Get into initial spin and then just try and control it a little bit.
Okay.
Push with your leg a little bit as well and help it spin. Full lock on the bars. If you pressure the bars one way, that helps push it down as well.
I'm sorry about that. My bad. I pushed down the pegs a little too much and hit the front brake. My bad. Alright, so yeah, I officially roosted Graham Jarvis in the face. I bet not a whole lot of people have done that before.
To lift the front wheel in the air, one foot on the ground, a good way to practice it with the right foot on the footrest so you got the back brake. So again, it's similar to the wheelie technique, compressing the forks, but you can't use your legs as much, so the idea is to throw your body forwards, compress, and pull up. So you can probably just try that where you are, or get in position uphill a little bit. Chest to the bars, compress, transfer the weight to the back, you should be able to get a little bit of lift. And you can do it in a bigger way as well, to get the front wheel right up and spin it round.
So I really wish this was a technique that he shared with us the first day before he took me into all the creek beds, because I can see this coming in real handy for getting out of a really tight situation. Pop that wheel up on the back wheel and spin that bike around. Even better than the donut technique. So this is pretty cool. It's something I'm definitely going to practice on.
Against a rock or a log, or just dug a bit of a hole for yourself. So like I said before, first thing is to have a look. You want to know exactly where the back wheel is, where the rocks are, where there's a bit of grip. But it's hard to go forwards because the back wheel's up against whatever. So just the first thing to do is just pull it back a little bit. So you just want that initial bite sometimes, just to get over that little bit of a hole you've dug. And then you can manoeuvre the front to where you want it, get in a comfortable position. Like front wheel might be in a bit of a hole, or you want to just help you get forward motion. And also if you angle it sometimes, you can get one foot to balance yourself. So this position, I like to have one foot on the footrest so you can pressure the peg, push off with the other foot. So if I just gas it from here, probably just bike's going to go and I'm going to fall backwards. So I'll start arms stretched out over the back, far back as I can. I'll pull myself forwards off the seat, arse coming off the seat, and then I'm going to gas it as I'm getting nearer the bars. So I'm throwing my weight forwards. As I'm coming forwards, when I'm back, I'm pressuring the peg, then I extend to take the weight off the back, so it helps the back wheel up a little step. That's a real good one to get out of trouble. So find yourself a little extend.
And yeah, another really good technique. During the first day in the creek beds, there were several times I dug a pretty deep hole with the rear tire and had a real hard time getting my bike out of there. I didn't have the right leverage to push it out, and wasn't weighting the pegs properly and using any of these techniques. So once again, I wish this was a technique I learned the first day before I went on my ride with them, but good one to know and good one to practice. And the second day, the logs get bigger, so this is a really great opportunity to get some coaching from Graham, and yeah, let's see what he has to say. Okay.
A little bit more, not too much.
Stand over here.
Yeah, you need to, the main thing is that clutch, innit? Get that clutch.
Yes, recluse clutch.
But you take your hand right off and then you can see you've lost a bit of control. or after the obstacles mainly.
Gotcha.
You gas it.
After the front wheel hit.
Yeah, even after the obstacle though. You can see there's a bit of a delay before you can get on the clutch.
Gotcha. Okay. And here's just another example of how I'm not really using the suspension to its advantage. I really should be coming up here compressing the front forks more and really letting the bike do more of the work. I also noticed just talking to Graham and trying to do all the techniques he was teaching, the recluse clutch just seems to be a real hindrance in terms of getting the most out of your clutch and throttle control. So I don't know, my next bike definitely will not have a recluse, and I think it's going to be a two-stroke too, just to get that extra control that I'm dying for. So anyway, we're back out in the woods here, going to do a couple of off-camber techniques and some hill climbs, a few more creek beds, and anyway, let's check it out.
So we're going to do a bit of off-camber riding. The technique is to lean the bike into the camber. So you, again, you're going to be centered on the bike, so you're leaning it in. But again, every situation is different. You're going across the banking. Small movements on the bars just to keep your balance. Sometimes you'll have stuff that's a bit loose and slippery as well, so you carry a little bit of speed. And also, when it's loose, sometimes I'll run the front wheel higher than the back wheel. So you're going across a little bit, working the throttle and just sliding the back wheel a little bit. So every situation is different. But the basic technique's to lean the bike into it. So the weight's on the outside and it's pushing the bike in. As soon as you lean into it with the bike, it might slip off. So there's a few loose rocks, you don't know what's there. We're going to try and go across it. This one here, above the green tree. Three options there. Start off riding in, carry the front, do your jump.
Well, not nearly enough RPMs on this attempt, but whatever. I'm kind of exhausted at this point in the day, so there you have it.
Two options here we can have a go at. Up and down. Yeah, so you're on a straight, just going round, start this one and back one where we just go.
So the angle I'm at here with the camera, you really can't tell what's going on up there, but the left side is way gnarlier than the right side. And of course Graham just plops up and makes it easy. Kicks a little rooster tail at the top and hops through there. But yeah, next couple of guys that try and get up there don't make it look quite so easy. So I'm just going to go up the right side. Boy, at this point in the day, I'm just wiped out and yeah, just wanting to finish the day without injury.
Just leaning back really, take the tension on the bars so the front wheel's just missing all the, it's not going to, missing the holes and loose rock. So take your pick, left or right. Be nice to see someone up the left. Go for glide.
Can you stay to the left all the way up?
Yeah, you can give it a go on that little camber a little bit.
Well, kids, there you have it. 2-day class with Enduro Master Graham Jarvis, and worth every penny of it. It was just an amazing experience, and if you ever do get a chance to take a class with Graham Jarvis or Chris Birch, any of the greats, I'd highly recommend it. Just awesome experience, and there you have it. Well, kids, that's a wrap. We checked off another bucket list item, and 2 days with Graham Jarvis, and wow, he kicked my ass, to say the least. It was definitely a amazing experience. A lot to soak in, way more than I expected, way harder. I learned some new shit for sure, got some new tricks, some good techniques, just basic awesome fundamentals, and just great.
When your friends say you